This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
What's up? Real MVPs, Ricky Widmer here, and welcome in to another episode of Heel Talk, brother. I'm here with my co-host, Mega Powers, Soapy Muffin. Soapy, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
We should just open the show. I should go, where's my old heel of maniacs out there, brother?
I mean, if we're heel, don't eat your vitamins, kids, and don't say your prayers.
I gotta get the NWO championship. I'm rocking out with it. Welcome into Heel Talk, the MVP podcast where we talk about wrestling. And Soapy, I kind of barreled right over what I usually ask you. How you doing today?
All right. A pretty slow day today, so it's been one of those. It's been a weird day too. On top of that, like it's been one of those of like it's so slow that like you just keep watching the clock over and over again. Where it's like there's no way it's been like 30 minutes.
You know what I will tell you though? You know where it hasn't been slow? The world of wrestling. Since Saturday, well, really since like, I don't know, what, the Vince stuff came out on Thursday?
I was going to say, that started coming out, what, Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah, like, it's just been a snowball ever since. But before we get into everything, this is basically Rumble Fallout show. We're going to be talking about everything post-Rumble, and there is a lot to unpack. Before we get into everything, though, quick housekeeping. Number one, if you want to join the Discord, the MVP Discord, greatest community in the universe, you can do that down below. Also, you can click the Patreon link if you'd like to support us and actually get Heel Talk a couple days early. You can do that by being a Plus member down below. Leave a comment on everything that we talk about today. And if you want to check us out, if you're like, oh man, I found you on YouTube, but I would love to listen to you in the car, we're on Apple Podcasts and Spotify as well. So rate us there if you have not already. Soapy, let's get into this. And I had a thought that we were going to start the show with the Royal Rumble winners. You know, Cody Rhodes, Bayley winning the Rumble. We're going to take that, though, and we're going to put it to the side for a second because today, it was tweeted out today by the one I'm looking at is WrestleOps, tweeted out, PW Insider has confirmed that CM Punk suffered a torn tricep during the men's Royal Rumble match and is believed to be heading towards surgery after an appearance on tonight's Raw in Tampa. Soapy, main question I'm going to throw out with this, and this is why I wanted to start with this today. It seems like the Rumble plans are being changed. We're going to be talking about some Rumble plans later on that were changed because of what happened with the whole Vince saga, what I'm going to call it. And this could be another WrestleMania change because Seth, he's hurt, but should be back by WrestleMania. Now CM Punk is hurt, but with a torn tricep, Soapy, will he be ready post-surgery to step right in and perform at WrestleMania?
It's one of those weird things where, like, torn tricep surgeries are always really weird because like, I had seen people saying, like, oh, like, he could be back in 4 to 6 months. And I'm like, okay, so he'll still most likely miss Mania, but there's a chance he's there. Then you look into it in other places where it's like, yeah, it's like a whole year. So it's like, okay, does anyone want to get a concrete number here? Like, I definitely think it really sucks as much as, you know, there's the little CM Punk hater in me that's like not cheering he got hurt. I don't like seeing anyone get hurt, but it's like yeah, you old man. But sorry, we got to start it off with a score.
Go ahead. I wasn't expecting the CM Punk hate so early.
Well, I mean, hey, it just, you know, if it's a narrative I have, I'm not going to explain the narrative here. If you guys want the narrative, join the Discord and ask me in there.
Yeah.
But it does suck to hear. As much as, you know, I may not be a giant fan of CM Punk, you know, he was a person that it seemed they had massive plans for him at Mania.
Yeah.
It also just seems like at this point, it's a curse to be even somewhat associated with the world heavyweight title. Because, like, you just get hurt if they even think about it. Like, something just happens to you.
I mean, we testing back lineage back to the old one because Seth's the only one to hold this one.
Yeah. I mean, well, so far, Seth keeps getting hurt.
But was he hurt before he won it? Was it brought in that way?
Well, if the guy's hurt, maybe don't give him the belt. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I mean, it's definitely something that really sucks. I really do hope that it is on the shorter spectrum of when he can come back. You know, like that more of that 4 to 6 month range.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the fact of, especially just, with Punk being an older guy, obviously your body doesn't heal as fast after surgery. So, like, I think that's kind of where it's starting to lean a little bit more towards the 6 month side, potentially even up to a year.
I was going to say, I Google searched it because I'm not a doctor. Don't take medical advice from me. But I did Google it, and most of what Google was telling me is after surgery, it's really a year is what most websites were telling me for torn tricep surgery.
Yeah. So, I mean, mind you, and I got mine from Twitter. So, like, mind you, we're real on the deep end
Twitter
of,
doctors and Google doctors. Who's better?
Yeah. WebMD versus Twitter doctor. Who's right in the end? No, it's, like I said, it does suck. I know we at least have an idea of when he got hurt, because it's when Drew hit him with the DDT. Now I'm not waiting for the nefarious agenda that's going to get pushed.
By the way, is Drew McIntyre just male Nia Jax? I'm just saying. He injured CM Punk. He knocked out a tooth from Cody. Is Drew McIntyre unsafe? Does he have to leave the company now?
Oh, he's the best worker in the company. He's making it real again.
Unhinged Drew McIntyre. He's pissed off at everybody.
Yeah, he's taking it out on everyone. He's so pissed off the Judgment Day screwed him over out of a fight with Jay that he just ignored Jay the entire time they were in the ring. Sorry. That's just it. We'll get into it when we talk about the Rumbles. There were times. Here's
what my mind just goes to now. With CM Punk being, let's say he misses Mania. Let's say it's not a year. Actually, I have two thoughts. I'll get to the second one later. But the first one, let's say he's not out for the year, but he misses Mania. We already had questions of what they were going to do with Seth Rollins. I actually think that, bringing in the second thought that I had, it sucks seeing CM Punk get injured because I was really excited to see him in his run back with the company. But I almost look at this and I go, this isn't a bad thing. And the reason I say that is, one, we don't have to rush CM Punk into a title feud and put the title on him too quickly. Two, even while he's recovering, he can still be a part of the company. And he's been spending time with NXT and NXT guys. He can still do that. Well, NXT guys and girls. He's been helping out both, but he can still do that.
He only takes pictures with the girls.
But he took video with the dudes. Preparing for the Rumble, there was a whole video with him.
He separated them.
It was, who was it? It was Braun Breaker. I think it was Braun Breaker, maybe Baron Corbin, but you know who else was in that group working out with CM Punk? Mr. Aura himself from NXT.
Which one?
Lexus King, baby.
Oh, gross.
Brian Pillman Jr. was working out. He was working out with CM Punk, brother.
He eats his vitamins, brother.
But I do think this is a good thing for the business. And the reason I say that is we don't have to rush CM Punk into a title feud, into winning a title. And then let's say he's out for a year. Could you imagine next year's Rumble? We get to 30, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And you just hear that the arena erupts. Kind of like John Cena when he was 30, but he wouldn't be coming back early from an injury. That's the only difference.
Yeah, it wouldn't be that superhuman recovery Cena had where he's like, yeah, I basically died, but guys, I'm back. It's like, okay.
Gotta do the Cena
Super
pose
Cena.
where he crosses his arms. But I'll ask you.
Like, you can't.
What's the plan with Seth? What do you do with Seth in the heavyweight title at Mania?
Honestly, it's such a weird thing now. Because the whole thing of... Now you kind of got to pivot away from like where the easy storyline was with Seth. Now you got to be like, okay, well, like, who do we give the opportunity to? Like, I know some people say, oh, we'll do it with Gunther. Do it with, like, Gunther. And I'm like, well, it's like, the only thing is, like, that would require then Gunther to most likely drop the IC belt before Mania, which doesn't really make sense to me, just to have him keep it either till Mania or after, however long you want Gunther to have it.
Let me interject here, because I was cooking something in my head, and you said that, which is beautiful. Why not have... In this first part, I kind of want to see happen, because let's be honest, now that Punk's not in the match, let's just let Seth recover. Let's have Damian finally cash in that briefcase on Seth Rollins, get the title on Damian Priest. After Elimination Chamber, basically between Elimination Chamber and somewhere in March, we just get it. It could be the Raw after the Elimination Chamber. Gunther has a dominating win again for the IC title. He comes out, he opens Raw, and he's like, you know what? I've done everything I can with this title. I have made this title what it used to be. I am the longest reigning IC title champion. I can't do no more. So I am announcing from today, I am giving up. I am stepping away, relinquishing the IC title. And on that Raw, he challenges Drew. Or not Drew, Damian. I screwed it up already. He challenges Damian.
He just beats up Drew for no reason.
No reason.
Drew catches the biggest stray in history. Drew just like is hanging out at home. And Gunther's like, I'm going to hit him. And it's just like, what did I do?
Sunday. Which, by the way, the Sunday thing was so great because it's like, oh, in the UK it would be Sunday. But no, he challenges Damian. Whether you like Damian or not, I'm a Damian fan. Dude, we get Damian Gunther at Mania. Doesn't have to main event. You can let honestly, you could let Bayley and Io main event Mania. Have the two Rumble winners main event night 1, night 2. Gunther and Damian have a match, and Gunther wins the heavyweight title at Mania off of Damian.
I mean, I think you could certainly do something like that. Like, my whole thing is, like, I've never been a giant fan of when people just relinquish their own belts, because they're like, I'm bored of having the belt. Like, to me, I think that's the main reason, like, I keep Gunther kind of off on his own, of where it's like, realistically, we all know Gunther's going to be a world champ at some point. Sometime
soon.
Or it's like, yeah. I mean, like, for instance, maybe you pivot into Jay gets his chance. Maybe you pivot into the chance of where, you know, like, obviously, Damien could always cash in, except he's never going to use that thing ever. It's just there. It's an accessory.
He's got until, tell me the contract's not until in July. There. He's got until July.
You could tell me the contract hasn't been in there the entire time, and I'd believe you at this point.
Dude, what if they did this?
You can tell me they actually lost it.
What if it's like, okay, you got to cash it in by the time the men's Money in the Bank match starts? If they do something where it's like, yeah, the men's match is going to main event the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. He cashes in before the match on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Like, you know how much I would hate it if they were like, he cashed in his Money in the Bank opportunity to be in the Money in the Bank match again. Just be like, guys, please, stop giving him him. Like, just knock it off.
Yeah.
Like, I think... giving Jay his opportunity, except Jay's going to do his stuff with Jimmy this year, most likely.
And you're saying against Seth, that Seth keeps the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's assuming Damian Priest doesn't cash in. To be completely honest, just cash in at this point. I know people are going to be like, oh, well, Seth drops his title, blah, 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 blah. Damian Priest has had this thing for damn near a year. All right? Just let him cash in. I don't care if it's successful or not. Just get the briefcase away from him. And then afterwards, take the tag belts off of him. That's going to age like milk on tonight's Raw.
That's gonna happen tonight, baby. I'm calling. We're recording this on Monday. You guys won't see this until Thursday on Patreon. Sunday it'll be a week after for everyone else. Dude, DIY, baby. I'm pulling for him. undisputed tag champs, baby. DIY, DIY.
Yeah. And hey, when you guys win the tag belts, give SmackDown back their titles, please. Ricky, do you know the last time they had a tag match over there from the Judgment Day?
Oh, from the Judgment Day or the Bloodline? Did the Judgment Day even defend them on SmackDown?
They did one time, and like the last, I almost gave it the answer.
It was against the Suit Profits, right?
I believe so.
It had to be. Like, I'm trying to think of tag teams. It had to be the Suit Profits. It wasn't LWO. It had to be the Suit Profits.
Well, the only reason I'm asking is because we should know. We were in the building when it happened.
Oh, was that the last one? The SmackDown
that is
before?
The last time.
Wow.
Yeah.
We were in the building when it happened.
Yeah, so we were there for the last one in November.
Santos Escobar.
Santos Escobar. Yeah, so like, it's just one of those things where it's like, give SmackDown back their tag belts. But like, yeah, no, I think Jay's gonna most likely be with Jimmy. Drew can have his chance. If Damian cashes in, do whatever you're gonna do with Damian. Like, and then just like, there's a couple other guys that hang around Raw where it's like, okay, like they could get their chance, but realistically, like, just do Drew.
Yeah. Well,
I know there's
big
like
question is Drew going to be with the company after Mania?
Who knows? At this point, I think he's signed. It's one of those weird things of like, you wouldn't feature him so prominently if he wasn't signed. But I mean, for instance, and also even to that, in some way they're gonna have to explain how Cody gets over to SmackDown. There's a stupid trade where it's like, hey,
I thought it was just he just challenges Roman, and then boom, you're over on SmackDown because you challenged Roman.
I'll probably introduce something over. It's like, we're gonna have to trade him, and you trade the guy who could challenge Seth. It's trade Cody for LA Knight. True. It may as well. Like,
but are they gonna do LA Knight versus the Maverick Logan Paul for the US title at Mania?
I mean, if he gets the opportunity for the World Heavyweight Championship, you may as well just be like, hey, Logan Paul, you can find something else to do.
You can fight KO again in the DQ finish.
Yeah, you can fight KO and hope that, KO has a blind ref on his side this time. Yeah, like, I think it's just it puts them kind of in a weird situation over, like, the clear plan now is kind of fall through.
Yeah.
How do you go from here? And, like, and to be completely honest, I kind of just hope they use Damian. Just be like, all right, Damian, cash in. We'll figure out what we want to do with Damian later. Like, it's honestly just at a point of where it's like, hey, guys, we don't have to ham fist the Rollins Punk feud over the belt right now. We can, wait a little bit. It's like, let's make sure they're both healthy, so neither of them get hurt in their match, and then I get to blame Punk if either one of them gets hurt.
So we could just do Punk and Rollins next year without the title.
Yeah. And then I'll hear about the whole, like, but he doesn't get the main event WrestleMania. Like, okay, guys, look, no.
A non-title match can main event WrestleMania, right?
Yeah. Well, it's let alone the fact it's also, let's be completely honest here. Does it really matter if you main event WrestleMania? There's 2 main events now.
So, in CM Punk's case, I'm going to say yes. Just because he made a whole big deal about how Dwayne is main event in WrestleMania, and I'm not, and it makes me
damn
sick.
Shame. Dwayne's gonna do it. Dwayne's gonna do it to him again. That's the crazy part. He's gonna show up next year.
Dwayne's gonna main event Crown Jewel.
Who knows? It could happen.
I think it is happening. I think they're trying to butter up The Rock to face Roman at Crown Jewel.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, who knows? But yeah, I think it's just kibosh the plan. Because to be completely honest, I think a lot of people are at the point with a lot of the champs, and where we're like, okay, guys, stop having the same people be champs. Where it's like, give us some new blood, give us a new, situation. Because honestly, if you are hell-bent on this being like a title feud, just wait till Seth's healthy again. Literally have the belt get taken off Seth, wait for him to get healthy, and then he can win it back. Yeah. It doesn't have to be this, like, guys, look, Seth can hold it for another year, right? It's like, no one wants that.
Nobody wants that.
The reason we don't want it. Yeah, it's like, because people are already tired of Seth's title reign. We were kind of tired of it like a couple months in.
I mean, it's better than
there's
Roman's.
Only so many. Yeah. I mean, there's only so many cackling promos and fights against Finn.
At least Seth shows up and fights on Raw.
Yeah.
And wins clean.
So, like, it's just the fact of, yeah. When we get to that Fatal 4-Way, I have something really funny that I found out was happening during the match.
Okay. By the way, I do want to throw this out here. Can you name to me the last time a non-title match main evented WrestleMania?
I'm trying to think if I can. Like, I almost wanted to say when The Undertaker lost the streak, but, like, that's not a main event. I'm gonna say, like, 9 years ago, just as a random number. I honestly don't know.
So, it's finicky. Technically, the last one that was not a title match that main evented was 2022, night 1, KO Stone Cold. That main evented. That was the end of the night.
Let's not.
Wait, I knew you were going to do that, so I went back further. Then we go back to 2020, night 1, AJ Undertaker Boneyard match. That technically was the last thing we saw.
I mean, true.
And then if you're like, whoa, Ricky, what about this 2-night crap? We don't want any of that. The last real one, if you're going to do it that way, is all the way in 2017 WrestleMania 33. No hold barred match. Who was in that match? It was a great match. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
What? You said 2017?
2017. This was in Orlando, Florida.
Oh,
great match. Great, stellar. We've heard all about it in documentaries recently.
Oh, God.
I've said both. I've said one of their names, and one of them is a champion right now.
Oh, this is the real stink one. Oh God, that's the Roman Undertaker one, isn't it?
Yeah, the no hold barred match. Isn't this the one where Taker got injured wrestling Roman?
It's one of them. By the way, guys, sorry about the train. Don't worry about it.
Before that,
one of the 5 times he gets injured.
Before that, the last one to be a non-title match main eventing WrestleMania was 2012. And we all know what that match was. Once in a lifetime. Yep. Twice in a lifetime. 3 times in a lifetime. 4 times in a lifetime.
As many times in a lifetime as we need.
And then we got to do it in the movies.
And then we got to do it in movies. And then we got to come back to wrestling and do it here too.
Cena Rock, for those you don't know.
Yeah. Battle once in a lifetime that happened twice.
That happened twice.
Yeah. Match fucking stunk.
Let's move on though. Let's go into. I'll ask you. How much do you have to say about the Fatal 4-Way? Because really, the Fatal 4-Way and the U.S. title, I'm just gonna say whatever, they happened.
It's the only thing I really want to say about the Fatal 4-Way was there were people on Twitter. Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, I know Twitter, credible source. But, like, there were people that were at the show that were literally like, yeah, people are starting to get really tired of the solo interferences.
Yeah.
Because Ricky, get ready to write down the swear because I have to give it the quote word for word.
That Roman stands even forget it happened.
Yeah. It was. Like, when he came out in a hoodie, one, I love that someone tweeted out, like, Solo, stop coming out in a hoodie, we know it's you.
We know it's you.
And then there was also the fact of, like, there were parts of the crowd that were chanting when he pulled LA Knight out that started chanting, same old. And it's just like, damn, I mean, hey, even the crowd's starting to turn against it.
Well, it's...
like...
You can't do the same thing over and over and over and expect people to love it when they didn't like it the first time.
And then you'll get the people to like, well, he's a heel. You're not supposed to like it. It's like, yeah, except the fact that heels are supposed to still make the product better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know we all want to be like, guys, look, the heel, you have to hate him. If people genuinely hate the stuff the heel's doing, and it's not character work, it's just they're like, God, can we stop having interferences? There's a difference to where like the heel problem starts and ends.
Also, how dumb are the baby faces? To where it's like, it's been 3 years? of this.
Yeah.
And none of them, some of them have fought multiple times against Roman. None of them are like, oh, well, this time it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Or, how come none of them have been like, hey, GMs who all of a sudden have all the power, but also don't do anything. Can you guys just tell them, like, if Solo comes out, I win?
Mm-hmm.
Like, can we just find
no,
stipulations
that would
around
take
it?
the belt off of Roman. We don't want that.
Or, we have to then just be like, guys, look, anytime you bring up stuff in promos, ignore that Roman hasn't won clean in like 2 years. Ignore that.
Yeah.
Act like he's the unbeatable, like, final boss of wrestling when he, doesn't win clean.
By the way,
don't bring up Jimmy J or Solo or even Sammy helping him win.
Corey Graves during the matchup, Dave pointed out, said something that you would have liked. It was when
it's Corey Graves.
Well, it was when LA Knight was draped over Randy Orton. Corey Graves said on commentary, well, he doesn't want to pin LA Knight, and the reason why the ref's not counting is because both of their shoulders are on the mat. And it's like, I see what you're doing. You're saving it, because the whole time I'm like, 1, 2, 3, LA Knight wins. He's draped over him. He's pinning Randy.
I mean, hey, Corey's got a point. Just also got to point it out, though. Never has mattered in any other point of wrestling. I remember the one arm. Pins. You can't fool me. I know. I remember.
But yeah,
you're not gonna tell me that there's been pins where guys are laying like vertical next to each other and just arm is
and
over.
Just got the arm overhand. Right? Yep. But both their shoulders
You're gonna tell
were down.
me that counts? But like, these guys are stacked up like a Jenga tower, and all of a sudden that doesn't matter.
Oh, I'm gonna say this. And there's a part of me that wanted to get to the women's rumble first, but screw it, we'll do the women's rumble last, because let's be honest, we'll save the best for last. Because Soapy, I texted this to Jake, it was a shame that the show, to me, best match of the night, the women's rumble. Second best match, the Fatal 4-Way. Third best match, the US title match. The worst match, the men's Royal Rumble. The show just got worse as we kept going.
Yeah. I'm in full agreement. Like, I'd maybe switch around the men's rumble and the U.S. title match, but that's also interchangeable.
Like, they were both not great. And like, I'm not like trying to be a Debbie Downer here, because I do like.
That's my job. Stop encroaching on my turf.
I'm sorry, brother. I haven't taken my vitamins yet today, brother. Didn't say my prayers, brother. But no, I mean, so I'm happy Cody won, right? Right. Even though we knew CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, one of them were winning. They ended up being the final two. By the way, it was so predictable to me. In our predictions, shout out to Sean in the Discord for putting them together like he does every year. So before I was told by a certain someone, not going to name their name, that, oh, the things are just for fun, we're not going to take it seriously, I bought in and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put MJF down, even though it's probably not going to happen. Like, oh, the end of the show is going to hit like crack. Oh, MJF is showing up. Soapy, I got so angry that I bought into that the lies that, oh, we're not going to take it. No, it doesn't matter who wins. Because Soapy was so predictable. I picked the final four. I knew the final four was going to be Gunther, Drew, Cody, CM Punk. I knew it. I knew it down to a T that those were going to be the final four. Because those are the guys, like Cody and Punk, they're the two rumored to win. Drew, we got to have in there because we want him to look big. Somehow it's going to be his fault not his fault that he got eliminated. And then Gunther, we just got to keep building him up as the next best thing since sliced bread. But I look at the Rumble and I go, I'm happy Cody won. The thing that I do like too, and some people, WWE stans, are going to probably hate this. I loved how he did this after he won. He's on the top of the ring before he points. He goes, and then...
yeah, it does the too sweet.
And then points. He gave one for the Young Bucks, one for Kenny, and then he pointed to the Rumble. Basically, like, like, even if you hate AEW, hate the Young Bucks, hate Kenny Omega, I like that little subtlety of like, hey, I don't forget. Like, I'm not gonna forget where I came. Like, he came from WWE, but like the not forget where I came from, because really AEW is the one where he became the American Nightmare. And I love how he just looked up and just pointed at Roman, like, you're next. However, I'm gonna say this. For those of you who don't watch our sports stuff, I've said this about the Celtics. I've said this about the Clippers. Taking it from Jake introduced me to this, where
if you're not in the Discord, you probably haven't heard that we've pissed Retro off multiple times by doing this to him.
I'll explain it. So Jake brought this to my attention. There's a English podcast where they talk about, they're mostly Chelsea fans. And I guess it was Chelsea made some big signings, and one of them just said, you must win the Prem. You must. We've adapted that. Celtics, you bring in all these players, you're the best team, you must. Clippers, you bring in James Harden, you must. This isn't targeted at Cody, because if Cody loses at Mania, I'm not blaming Cody. I'm looking right at you, Mr. Triple H, Mr. Paul Levesque. What?
Right.
You must. You must have Cody finish the story. You must. Because Soapy, now that they've done it, if he doesn't finish the story for the second time in a row, just don't have him. Just never have him finish the story, because I have stood on this soapbox before, and I will stand on it again. The first time, people are upset, but you've kind of built it through. Okay, he can finish it this year. If he does not, like, winning the WWE title, the title that his dad never had, that's a WrestleMania moment. You can't have him lose at Mania and then, we'll save it to SummerSlam after Roman beats Hulk Hogan. You can't do that. And if you do it to where he loses and then, next year's Mania, no one is going to care next year. You have to do it this year. And I know people like Jake are like, well, Ricky, can't you just have fun? Can't you just enjoy it? I am going to enjoy that night. But Soapy, he must finish the story. He's got to finish the story. If he doesn't, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think, because never have him finish the story then.
Yeah, it's such a slippery slope, because the fact of, them wanting to, like, break records, which I've been on record saying is stupid anyways.
They don't matter, except for all-time wins.
I mean, yeah, fair. Like, it's just the fact of where it's like, what, do we do a third go-around next year of where we're like, guys, is Cody going to win it 3 times in a row? Like, guys, look at all this adversity Cody's faced.
I swear.
He's just winning everything but Roman.
If there's a DQ finish where it's like Cody, if they do a Dusty finish, don't do that. I just thought about that.
You know exactly what they're going to do.
If they do a Dusty finish and we see Cody holding the belt up when he didn't really win it, please don't do that, because then, no, I can see it now, Soaps, the Dusty finish. And then going into next year's Mania, it's just, well, technically they're 1-1. Cody won last year, but he didn't win the belt. Please don't do that.
They're going to do it. You know it's going to happen.
Please. No.
Ricky, we're not even in the final inning. We're in the 5th already.
That pissed me off. I don't know if you watched live, Soapy, but it pissed me off when after the Rumble, Michael Cole, who I like now, goes, Roman, what inning are we in anyways? And it's like, we don't need to bring up that stupid quote. It's a dumb quote. It didn't make any sense. I get it. They were in a baseball field, but like...
Yeah, it's something.
We're going to get a Dusty finish.
We're gonna get Cody's gonna technically win, but not get the belt. It's gonna happen, Ricky. You've stumbled into it. You found it out yourself.
I didn't even think about this until right now.
You can't have a Rhodes be in a situation that they could win something without getting screwed over. It's the rules. It's named after Dusty for a reason.
I mean, it happened to Dusty. It happened to Dustin when he was Gold Dust with Val Venus. Except that wasn't a championship. That was his wife.
Imagine getting Dusty finished with your wife. That's got to be tough.
Well, I mean, it was the whole angle back in the Attitude Era. I remember vividly because, that's when I got into wrestling when I was a kid. It was it was what, Terry Reynolds? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, the whole thing was that she cheated on Gold Dust with Val Venus. And I remember the vignette like it was yesterday where it's her and Val Venus in bed together. They showed it on the Titantron while Gold Dust is in the ring and having to look at it. Or having to look at it with Terry in the ring. I can't remember that part. That part's kind of phased. But, oh, please don't do a Dusty finish. Please, can we just let Cody win it? Can we? Can we just finish the story? Does Roman have to break Hogan's record? Does he?
I mean, they want him to break Hogan's record.
Do they, though? Do you honestly, after seeing Cody win, what is your honest percentage that Cody actually wins and finishes the story and Roman doesn't break Hogan's record?
Mine's honestly is a 50-50.
I'll take that.
I'm
That's
going
better
into
than what I
it
thought.
of where it's like, yeah, my thing is just, now, I'm on record saying I don't care that records get broken.
Mm-hmm.
But also just because realistically no one really does care. No one's like, you guys remember Roman's 5-year title reign? It's like, no one cares. But it's like, I just have 50-50 because it's one of those of like, just pull the trigger on Cody already. Let Roman have his year off or whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
And realistically, he doesn't show up anyways. So let Roman go do what he wants to do without the title.
Mm-hmm.
You can then do whatever you want to do with Solo and Jimmy.
Yeah.
Have Paul Heyman go do what he's going to do. Probably go, I don't know, make someone else a stud.
Mm-hmm.
Put him with Braun Breaker while we're at it. And just just find something for everyone to do. And eventually you can just bring Roman back again at some point. It's just, my entire thing is, I just question if it's like at this point, you've built it up that because to me, Roman and now mind you, this is going to be a weird one for some people.
Mm-hmm.
Roman and Rhea have kind of reached the same point of with their title reign.
Yeah.
And Roman's been there for a lot longer than Rhea has, but Rhea's has kind of gotten to that point.
The only difference is with Rhea, there's not as many women that are on that level, and B, all the women that are on that level, we've already seen them as top titles, as top champions.
And to fill everyone in, what I mean is basically that they've built them up to where it's like if they lose their title, it's a Mania moment.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, realistically, that just feels like a consolation prize. If it's like, hey Cody, you're gonna lose at WrestleMania, but you win at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so Cody gets robbed of his WrestleMania moment because a record that no one cares about gets broken.
Mm-hmm.
That's just the whole thing. It's a weird situation. I have it about 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
And just with the Rumble in total.
Go ahead.
Sorry, my bad.
Go ahead. I'm walking all over
my thing
you.
just with the Rumble. Yeah, it's my thing just with the Rumble in general, and I guess I'll kind of be the positive one.
Go ahead.
Well, I say positive and I'm going to say negative. Dude, that crowd stunk.
Yeah, a lot of people on YouTube were saying
stunk.
it did. Yeah.
Well, and mind you, and maybe it's just one of those situations of the crowd wasn't getting picked up as much.
Mm-hmm.
But when CM Punk came out and did the It's Clobbering Time, when he did It's, and it was just quiet.
Yeah. I will say this though, and I saw this tweet out there, and I honestly 100% agree with it, and you're gonna agree with it too, Soapy. This Rumble showed, or should have showed, WWE. Get rid of what is it? Def Rebel? Is that who does the music now? Get rid of them, because the problem with the themes right now is they all sound the same. So it's like a theme plays and you go, who is it? Who is it? Except for Cody, CM Punk, all these people who have themes already. Yeah.
All the people whose themes predate Def Rebel.
Yeah. So it's like, Also, now that we have Endeavor, I think you were the one that said this to me, and I agree with it.
Yes. Is this the licensed music thing?
Can we? Yes. Can we get that because you do it for UFC anyways?
Yeah.
Ching ching, just pay. Dude, you're going to be getting so much money with the Netflix deal and stuff. You got Netflix is going to be making bank like.
You have $5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you have to go up to someone and be like, dude, just write a number on the check. We don't care. We want to be able to use this song.
I will say, though, I feel like we're going to get that sooner rather than later. And the reason why I say that is with WWE 2K24, that Kingdom may not just be exclusive anymore. Maybe exclusive to Cody, but like it's not exclusive to where like if I change anything about Cody, I can't use that theme.
Yeah. No, it's just like Endeavor, please, for everything, just pay for music, please. Like, you don't have to pay for every single one. Honestly, you know what? At this point, just go back,
just some of the
find
big
the people
ones
who own CFO. Well, I mean, even just literally be like, hey, go up to CFO, be like, hey, you guys remember how you used to make themes and a lot of people kind of didn't like most of them?
Mm-hmm.
Here, we buy your whole company. You left because you didn't like it before? Boo-hoo, Cry Me a River, you're back.
Well,
F Rebel,
they would have
get out the door. We don't want you anymore.
CFO would have to be selling the company.
Hey, you bring enough money, you'll
Endeavor, write down any number.
Literally, Endeavor will take out one of those stupidly comically large checks that like you give in presentations and just slide that across the table, and it's just like write down a number.
Oh, but yeah, it was. I saw that and I was like, yeah, I agree. One thing I do want to ask you that I was going to bring up about the Cody and Roman thing. Do you think, and this kind of brings into, okay, TNA, we had Jordan Grace, TNA Knockouts champion, in the Women's Rumble. I was very surprised that A, she showed up because I wasn't expecting it. B, I was surprised that WWE actually made her look good. She had some good spots. She, no matter how much Nia Jax tried to deadweight, she did her job with Nia. How she got eliminated was brutally, which was like, not like, oh, haha, you just got thrown. No, she got KO'd on the apron, and that's how she got eliminated from the Rumble from Bianca. People have asked, and I know Paul Levesque mentioned this with the silly door comment. Or silly word, talking about whatever door people walk through. Some people have brought out that TNA, still TNA, but still Impact, has worked with AEW. Is this going to be TNA working more with WWE and cutting ties with AEW? Or is this going to be the workaround to how we get AEW, WWE crossover? And the reason why I say crossover is like, for example, Dustin Rhodes' contract isn't up until September of this year. Could we get a workaround through TNA where AEW lets him show up and be that person for Cody? Solo goes to get involved. Boom. Who's there? Flips it off. It's Dustin. Dustin chases Solo out and he yells at Cody, finish the damn story. Could we get that because of the TNA thing?
Honestly, I hope that's where it leads. I don't want it to be a, like, oh, TNA goes from working with everyone to just WWE thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really hope it becomes a situation of, like, oh, like, we kind of get this workaround of, like, hey, these guys we want to see work together in WWE or in AEW. Like, we just bring them together. It's like, hey, TNA, you get the happy medium.
Yeah.
Get them. Do the match. Like, you don't get to do anything else with them, but hey, you get them.
Yeah, well, I'm saying like Rhodes, Dustin would show up at Mania to help Cody.
Yeah. To be honest, I do hope it leads to a situation of where like we see the companies work together. I know obviously Tony Khan's got to shut up and stop crying for 5 minutes. Dude,
2024 is going to be like 2021. You see that tweet?
I mean, hey, yeah. I mean, I love that people clown them for it. And it's like, dude, why are you guys clowning him? He's literally just trying to be excited about his product. That's not even the worst thing to clown him for.
The reason people clown him though is I heard today they're like, oh, it could be because we had a lot of like new people debut in AEW, and it's like, ooh,
not do anything.
Ooh, only 2 of the 5 are still there. Well, 3 of the 5 are still there. One of them has made public, I don't like working here, and I'm going back to WWE as soon as I can. Aleister Black.
Well, to be fair, that one has been debunked at this point.
Has it?
Because every member of House of Black is absolutely... Yeah, well, the reason it's been debunked is every member of the House of Black has publicly shit on Dave Meltzer.
Yeah.
Well, because... For context, for those of you that don't follow wrestling Twitter, basically there's a whole thing over. It's like, oh, like it's believed Aleister Black and Buddy are going to leave AEW as soon as their contracts are up, because Meltzer was like, oh well, that group doesn't want to do a job. They don't want to lose. That's why they changed the name. Like that's why they changed the cage match. Fun fact: Buddy, Cody, and the guy who does match graphics for AEW have all said that was always the name of the match. It was just Dax f***ed it up.
Oh, okay. Dax.
And it was they messed up the graphic. Dax Harwood messed it up. Or literally, it's you have 3 people with direct sources of, being in the company telling you, like, this was always the plan.
Yeah. This was
and Meltzer's like, well, he's go. Yeah. Basically, I'm just saying this. Like, one, I never listened to Dave Meltzer anyways. 90% of the time, Dave Meltzer is just yapping.
Yeah.
But, like, when he talks sometimes, it's like, dude, God, you give me an aneurysm when you talk. No, literally, if any of you have an opportunity to read the quote that he gave about like that match getting changed, he repeats the same sentence like 4 times in a row. Multiple times. He's like, they don't want to do the job. No one in this group wants to do the job. Buddy literally posted his record of 2-9. And he's like, yeah, we don't want to do the job. I forgot about that.
Well, I mean... Everyone but Malachi can get singles matches, though.
Yeah, well...
We can't get Malachi in a singles match. That'd be too much work.
Yeah. Well, it's also, even at that, people gotta also remember, his contract's not up for any time soon. Yeah. So, like, we still got, like, 3 more years.
But I will say, going over back to the Women's Rumble, it was really nice, and Bailey alluded to this. It's so nice to have a women's roster that is so deep. And, I mean, let's be honest, so deep to where you finally use some of your NXT talent so that you don't have to call it... No Molly Hollies, no Kelly Kellys, no Trish Stratus.
Them doing that screwed me over in the predictions. Yep. I literally wrote the same people every year. None of them showed up. Mind you, I also got screwed in the predictions because I'm like, guys, Solo's going to win it all. He wasn't even in the Rumble.
He wasn't even in the Rumble.
I'm the only person in my predictions, the only one who didn't make it to the Rumble. I don't even think I got a surprise entrant right at all, aside from Jade Cargill.
Here, let's see. In the women's, you're saying?
Just in any of them.
One of them... Final 4, you were 2 of 4. You had Solo and Dom. Yeah. Final 4 for the women, you were 3 of 4. You had Becky in there.
Becky. Yeah.
Who was the other one? It was Liv Well, they had the wonky one where 2 people got finished at the same time.
Where it was Bianca. It was Bianca and Tiffany were the last 2 to get eliminated.
That was it. Yeah. So the surprise men's one, I'm upset that Ty Dillinger didn't make an appearance. That Sean Spears didn't.
Literally, the second we got to 10, and I'm like, please, and he did come on. I'm like, well, he's not showing up.
Yeah. Tyler Breeze and Wade Barrett were your other 2.
All I'm saying, Tyler Breeze one, the main reason it pisses me off, if you've seen the picture of Bailey walking around the event afterwards, Tyler Breeze is there. You're telling me you can't put the ring gear on one time?
Wait. So they chose Pat McAfee over Tyler Breeze?
I mean, well, one, I like Pat a lot more than Tyler Breeze.
But but I'm saying, like, Pat didn't know, apparently.
For 5 seconds?
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, that's also if he's lying or not. If he is lying, then...
You had one surprise entrant. You put Jade.
Yeah, Jade's the only one I got.
You got most of limbs with
everyone
Braun?
and their brother is like, yeah.
Dude, that Brock Lesnar getting pulled really helped you there, because that was apparently then Brock's most eliminations.
Yeah, honestly, like it's just everything with that situation of like, because speaking about that part for a second of with Brock not being there, I'm gonna be completely honest. I think it's Pat McAfee got Brock's number. I think it's Braun got his spot.
Yeah,
like if that makes sense. So where Pat got the number he's supposed to come in.
See, no, I'm different. I think that the number that because Pat came in after Braun, right?
Yeah. Because he came in after Omos.
That's where Braun was supposed to be, because I could see it was Omos. Oh, who did he stare down in the Rumble? When Pat...
It was like Omos, Bronson, Reed.
Yes,
I think it was Bronson.
So it was probably going to be a spot where it was like Bronson, Reed, and Omos. They do the stare down. Braun Breaker comes in. You got three big guys, big meaty men slapping meat. They probably were like, hey, we're going to pull you. We're going to put you in Brock's spot. You're going to do exactly what he did. Because Trips is probably like, I can trust Braun to do that.
Yeah.
And then they probably just like, throw Pat in there. He knows what to do.
Yeah.
If he truly didn't know. I kind of find it kind of hard that they're like, just play Pat's music. Let's see what he does.
Yeah.
That's a lot of faith in his improvising.
Yeah. I will say, I am so happy he showed up for that pay-per-view. It was so good.
Yeah.
Because honestly, at this point, just bring him for the big shows. Like, I don't need him to be there for like every little one. I mean, like as much as
he'll probably be. Because
obviously
he'll probably be for some of the road to WrestleMania because football season's over. College football's over.
Football will be over by then. College will be over.
Well, college
he has
over.
More free time. Yeah, you know what I mean, though.
Come on, Soapy, your favorite college won the whole thing.
Yeah, yippee!
They lost their head coach though because of it.
Yeah, yippee! Yeah, no, like I think it's the reason why I think that he got Brock's spot of like where his number entrant was is I have like me it just makes it a little easier then to be like, okay, like we're not having to shuffle people around last minute in their order. Like just being like, all right, whatever. Like these guys who are going to get eliminated are going to get eliminated a little earlier than they would have before. And then Braun getting eliminated by Dominic, which I do love that it was apparently, since he got all of the stuff Brock is supposed to get, that Brock is supposed to get eliminated by Dom.
Well,
I'd love to see how the hell they managed to figure out how Dom's going to get Brock over the top rope. That absolute meat mountain of a man.
So
gets thrown over by the little twink.
I'm going to ask you this. This kind of supersedes the order, but you brought it up. I'll ask it right now. So apparently the rumor is Braun got all of Brock's spots. There's now, he cut a promo for like the exclusive YouTube thing where he said basically like, this is like, I'm ready for the main roster. This is my home. This was my call up. And he said that he's coming for the Judgment Day. People are already taking that like, well, hey, Brock was then going to start a feud with Dominic. They were going to face off at Elimination. The plan was, apparently, from what people are saying, Brock and Dom were going to have a match in Australia at Elimination Chamber. And then it was going to be Gunther versus Brock for the IC title at Mania. My question to you is, because A, Trips likes Braun, he is a Braun guy, he didn't look bad in the Rumble. Let's be honest, all of us have been begging for him to get called up. Do they just say, hey, this is your call up, you got Brock's spot? You're basically like, you're in that feud now. It's going to be Braun and Dominic at Elimination Chamber facing off. And then does Braun get his first Mania match against Gunther for the IC title? Do they put him? Do they even put him over that way of like, you're gonna beat Gunther for the IC title in Mania?
Man, honestly, I would. I mean, genuinely, in my opinion, I view it as Braun Breaker's one of those guys of where it's like, no, like start building him up a lot because he's the next big dude for the company. Like, don't. I know it's a turn of phrase. Don't pussyfoot around it. Like, just be like, full send it. You full sent it with Roman for like 13 years. Full send it with Braun. Now, mind you, people actually root for Braun.
Yeah.
Like,
he's going to be a baby face on the main roster, right?
Yeah, mean, that's the thing. One, like, obviously, having played a little in the Steiner, not too much into the Steiner, but a little bit.
I will say, I love how he came out in basically his daddy's singlet, the colors that Rick Steiner wore.
Yeah. Like, that's the thing. It's just, honestly, at this point, just, like, he's ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know they had the whole thing where it's like, oh, Shawn Michaels doesn't want to have people get called up because he doesn't want to ruin their stories and blah, blah, blah. It's like, Shawn, you are the developmental. Shut up.
Yeah, that's what NXT
deal with this
is.
problem.
That's what NXT is.
Yeah, it's like, hey, buddy, I hate to break it to you. You're not the third brand anymore. You're developmental.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get these people for long. As soon as they're ready, they go up.
The only other thing I can think of, and I'm throwing this out from Jake and I have talked about it. So apparently you look at the NXT Battleground posters, Ilya's not on it. So many people are thinking at Vengeance Day that Ilya's going to lose the NXT title and get called up. Which would you rather have, Soaps? 3 options. One's a cop-out. Option A, Braun Gunther Mania IC title. Or Gunther Ilya Mania IC title. Or the cop-out, all 3 triple threat.
I mean, honestly, I think it's Braun coming up first makes more sense because, mind you, I could be wrong. Ilya's still the champion, right?
Yeah, he would have to drop it at Vengeance Day.
Yeah, to me, it's like, just keep Ilya down there. Like, he's like the litmus test for people. Mind you, obviously, don't do fake injury storylines with him anymore because he makes it a little too real.
He makes it a little bit... He's really good at acting.
Yeah, he really makes you think he's actually hurt, and it's like, oh...
Yeah,
oh man, this is not a good move.
Because it's Ilya and Trick for the NXT title at Vengeance Day.
Yeah, I mean, Ilya's probably winning because somehow Melo's going to cost Trick, I'm assuming.
I mean, let's be honest. I think that don't Melo and Trick have a tag team match this Tuesday? And if they win, they face the Wolf Dogs for a shot at the NXT Tag Champs.
I mean, probably. I honestly...
Because Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker, the Wolf Dogs, they're already in the finals of the Dusty Cup.
I love that pairing, by the way. I want you guys to know this right now. I absolutely love that pairing.
By the way, I love how people are like...
genuinely?
People are like, oh, Baron Corbin. Where did he come from? It's like, do you guys not remember how good Baron Corbin is? Yeah. I know we had to go through the happy Corbins and the sad Corbins and the Constable Corbins, but like Baron Corbin was
kind of a good Corbin.
What?
I kind of miss sad Corbin a little bit. There's like the bits of I miss like him looking homeless, like being like, I can't afford to eat today.
Who's the worst Corbin? Is it Constable Corbin?
It's Constable Corbin. And it's mostly just because they used Corbin as the scapegoat for why the booking was bad.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, well, guys, like, Corbin's the reason it's bad, and everyone's like, yeah, boo him! Boo this man! And throwing tomatoes at him.
Oh.
And Corbin's just like, I'm not even doing anything! No, like, I think it's I'm just saying this right now, if Baron gets, or if Braun gets called up, bring Baron up with him, not as, like, a wrestler. Just have it to where he just travels with him and does backstage stuff with him.
He's the manager for Braun.
Yeah. Those guys have such good chemistry. It is insane. Like,
I was thinking about it in the shower. You think about me in the shower?
Yeah. Like, it's just genuinely, for people who don't, haven't seen Baron Corbin's most recent stuff, just watch his stuff with Braun. It is literally arguably the best stuff he's ever done. And that's, like, even, like, considering, like, his absolute peak with, like, the Lone Wolf character.
I'll be honest, him and JBL slapped.
Yeah, until JBL just was like, you suck. And everyone's like, yeah, JBL's right. And I'm like, oh, you
You're like, oh, you sheepdogs.
Yeah, you sheep. All whatever the Fed tells you, all right. God, I sound like a conspiracy theorist when I say that.
Your words, not mine, brother. Brother. No, I mean, steering this back to the women's bubble, because I realized I literally just took that entirely away from it. I did too. I did too. It was you brought because you brought up the Braun thing, and then we went on that. But ask your question.
Yeah. How did you feel about Jade's debut?
I think she should have been 30. I think she should have been 30, and B, Nia Jax is horrible. Dude,
yeah.
Nia Jax, here's the thing, and this is what impressed me about Jade Cargill. She was able to pick up Nia Jax while Nia Jax was trying to deadweight her. It was like, nope, not going to let you pick me up. I'm just going to deadweight here. And Jade's like, screw you. Like it was. So I'm happy, though, with what she was doing, because it seemed like they wanted to get her involved with each of the main players. But the main one that I think was going to be her WrestleMania rivalry is Nia Jax. And to me, I'm like, perfect. That's how we do it. Like, because apparently from what I'm seeing on Twitter, heard it on Wrestle Talk, apparently the big thing that's still like what she needs to work on is remembering things. And it's just basically she hasn't gotten the reps to be like she's not a seasoned wrestler. She only had 60 some matches over 3 years in AEW.
Yeah.
So from what I heard today, Ollie Davis said this on Wrestle Talk. He basically mentioned how they might just want to get her into the WWE live circuit so that she's just wrestling and getting those reps while setting up her WrestleMania feud, which I'm assuming is going to be her and Nia.
Yeah. Well, it's either going to be her and Nia, or they jump the gun early and do her and Bianca.
Yeah, I let her learn against Nia. However, it scares me because if we have someone who's not a seasoned vet with Nia, Nia's going to hurt him. And I don't want Jade getting hurt. Can we just fire Nia? Is that a thing? Or is she protected by the Samoan clause?
Yeah, she's Samoan clause kicks in every day.
Like, why did they bring her back?
She's
Why? Why? What did you think of Jade's debut?
I think it was really good. Mm-hmm. I think it was they made her feel like an absolute huge deal.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like, it was this, because when she walked out, I was honestly really surprised how loud the crowd was when she came out.
I was happy they had her AEW theme. When I heard storm is I was like, oh, I know who that is. Yeah.
It's like, my God, a theme that doesn't sound the same. Special. They mean something.
I will say this, though. Liv was a weak. Both 30s, weak. Liv was a weak 30.
Yeah. Because I do agree. I think Jade should have been 30. Because it just made Liv coming out of 30 not really matter. Because it's okay, we got the one we all wanted.
Yeah.
Like, okay, Liv, cool, you're not on probation or whatever anymore. Cool. Like, you'll kind of just middle around, do 2 things, probably get in trouble again or get hurt, and then you'll go away again.
Because here, let me see.
That was so, I really enjoyed it. Like, the way they presented her, the way that she interacted with everyone, of where it was when she first got signed, I kind of had to worry of okay, how well is she going to translate over? You can definitely tell the Performance Center has worked wonders.
Yeah.
Everything she did looked good. There may have been 1 or 2 times that it's that didn't look great, but it's everything else looked perfect. It was you could definitely tell they've been working on making her as good as they possibly can.
Yeah.
And it's been worth the investment. Unlike a certain other AEW wrestler they signed that they keep acting like he's good, but he's not.
What wrestler would
Everyone
that
knows
be?
exactly what I'm talking about.
What wrestler would that be?
I don't know. Could it possibly be that he has a moving chair? No.
So
I'll leave that up to everyone's imagination.
I got one question. Looking at both Rumbles, the women's Rumble, I didn't have too much of a problem with all the people who were in it. However, with the men's Rumble, I have a question. Why wasn't Dragon Lee in the Rumble? Does he still have the visa issue going on?
I honestly don't know.
Because I was going to say, why did we get JD? Like, did we need JD McDonough? We could have just had R-Truth.
Yeah, like, I don't know. It was, all I'm just saying, R-Truth screwed me on the predictions again. He was my lowest one. He was supposed to be the shortest, and he screwed me over.
Dude, the hot tag was awesome, though.
Yeah, that was funny.
Technically, does he get the count for the shortest elimination because he came out for the women and Valhalla was the shortest?
See, that's why I was saying in the wrestling chat, it counts.
I didn't even see you say that in wrestling chat.
I said it, and I got told it doesn't count because it had to be for the men's. And I'm like, well, damn it.
I mean, it didn't specify, right? It just said shortest, and it was in the women's rumble. Huh?
Yeah. Well, I think it said shortest time men's. And
yeah, in the women's rumble. R-Truth came out at 24. The person at 24 had the shortest. You're right. I agree with you, Soaps. You're right. But yet again, I thought it was all fun and games, and I didn't know we were taking it surreal over here. I didn't know some people don't have a life, and I love everyone in the Discord, but some of us don't have lives. That they have to hang their hat on this, or else, oh my Lord, the sky is falling because I can't hang my hat on that I won the MVP predictions for the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, don't worry, Jake has been running victory laps ever since.
And this is the thing. I'll go heel on Jake. Jake's the one who was like, "Oh, well, Ricky, we're doing it for fun. We're doing it for fun." The second he wins, he becomes like, "Come on!" Like, you can't say we're doing it for fun, and then when you win, act like it was the most competitious thing in the world. Like, get over yourself. But I'll ask you, Bailey. They teased that she was going to go after Rhea on Twitter. She's going after Io, right? This is the damage control breakup.
Yeah, I think this is how they're going to separate her from damage control.
Does she win at Mania?
If she goes against Io, yes.
Okay.
And mostly just because, like, realistically, like, I hate saying it, Io really hasn't done anything.
Yeah, because she's held back by damage control.
Yeah, like, it's at this point, it's like, all right, WWE, stop putting champs in factions. Just stop. Let them be their own thing for a little bit. Io doesn't need a faction. Or, if she's going to be in a faction, have her be the leader of a faction.
Here's the story that I think needs to be told, and I'm going to throw this out there. I don't think Bayley needs to win at Mania. I'm going to hate if that happens, but I don't think she needs to win because I think what the story should be is through this Mania season, Bayley learns I don't need the damage control turns on her for choosing Io. That relationship breaks, but the Io part of the story should be because the whole time through damage control, Io she started out even with Dakota behind Bayley. But now it's kind of shifted to where it's like Io is the leader. Like Asuka came in, Kairi came in. Now it's like, oh, Io is kind of more of the leader of damage control than Bayley is. To where it should be the confidence in Io of like, you know what? I can run on my own. I have the confidence to be like, I was champ. I can be on my own. And then we just Kabuki Warriors do their thing. Io and Bayley do their thing. Dakota's injured. I hope they don't call them. Oh, there was already a tweet with the words Kabuki Warriors because Bayley and Io were taking pictures of them when they were taking pictures with the titles.
Gross.
So we got an announcement. We got an announcement here on the podcast. Because
I guarantee it's the same thing.
Because Raw just started. Pat's back full time. That's what Jake just tweeted. Just texted me. So he's back.
Yep.
Not a bad
look
thing.
Look at that, guys.
He's back full time.
Look at that. Yeah, football season's over. He's back.
He's back on the road to WrestleMania. So last thing I want to do here to end the podcast. I will ask you. The last thing we haven't talked about, it kind of involves the Vince stuff. from the Rumble, there was a big discussion about Triple H and his comments when he was asked 3 times about the Vince McMahon allegations that came out over the weekend. Cody was asked about it, and everyone praised Cody for his answer. I'm going to tell you this. I listened to it once. I listened to it the night it happened, and I can tell you almost verbatim what he said. He said it's a tough thing. He paused. He said it's a dark cloud. He then talked about the locker room and how it's a brotherhood and a sisterhood back there, and it's one of the best locker rooms, and everyone's got each other's back. Usually you go into locker rooms and people are trying to pit against each other and get ahead of each other. Everyone's got each other's back. It's a brotherhood back there. That's what Cody said. Great answer. Triple H, not so much, Soapy. It was more like a, well, I want to, like the big thing people are hitting them with the, I want to focus on the positives, and then starts talking about like things that people relate to money. And for me, do I think it was the best response? No. Do I think it was the worst response? My puzzling thing is whether this is Endeavor, whether this is Triple H. It was a lose-lose situation. You either get questions and answer them and people hate you for it, or you don't have them ask questions and tell them they can't, or just don't do the press conference entirely, and then people say, oh, you're dodging questions. So it was a lose-lose, but I don't know why there wasn't a prepared statement. It almost seemed like Triple H didn't expect anyone to ask him about it.
Yeah. Well, and especially because I know me and you had briefly talked about it yesterday.
Yeah.
Of where, like, to me, I think there was an out to where it wouldn't be a lose-lose.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, and it's the sucky, like, corporate answer. But, like, at the same time, in a situation as serious as the Vince situation has become.
Yeah.
Like, it is very much a situation of, like, people are going to make fun of you for using the corporate answer, but, like, Cody also gave the most corporate answer and everyone loved it. It's literally all you had to do if you were Triple H is just say, like, at the moment, I cannot legally speak on it as it's an active, legal case.
Mm-hmm.
Or even, if you wanted to just do, like, the, since I have personal connection to it, Vince being, the grandfather of my children, like, I don't want to speak on the issue. You have to do.
I just thought of something. What if he would have started his press conference and got ahead of it entirely? Before the first question, he sits down and he goes, basically, thank you all for great event, for all of you being here. Before we take our first question, I want to address the elephant in the room. Talks about the, like, what is going on, not like in detail, but like, hey, we all know this came out. Cody was asked about it, reaffirmed that I 100% agree with Cody's comments. I couldn't have said it better myself, so I'm not going to try to say it better myself. I wish I could answer more, but I just want to focus on the great night we had, even with this dark cloud that tried to sit over it. Boom, right there. Would have been so much better than, I want to focus on the positives. The one thing I really didn't like was when he was like, well, Cody had a great answer, and he kind of was like, I don't remember exactly how he put it, and it's like, oh, brother, you have to have an idea. If you're going to reference what Cody just said, not even, like, were you not paying attention to the press conference on Trips? Like, I give a little leeway because there's probably stuff that he was probably dealing with, end of the Rumble. But if he wasn't, like, brother, you got to be able to paraphrase that thing. You got to be able to give me some snippets from it. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was a great response. It just reminds me of some of it was a great response. The best response. I couldn't tell you what he said. Like, it reminds me of what everyone, like, makes fun of Trump for.
Yeah. Or it's like, it's just one of those things of where very much, and I will say, I don't want to make this an AEW WWE thing, Like, it is a little heartwarming.
Uh-huh.
It sounds weird to say it about this entire situation.
Uh-huh.
And people are also giving Triple H the same level of scrutiny Tony Khan gets when he doesn't answer anything.
Yeah.
Well, it is nice to see, like, you know, they're held to the same standard. Mind you, technicality, they have entirely different jobs than one another.
Well, I was also going to say situations are completely different. Like, similar, but completely different.
Yeah, I'm also just saying this right now. For any of you out there that try to equate them one-to-one, no, they aren't. Don't try to make this like, oh, well, you know, they're on the same level. No. One's Jericho being creepy. The other one's sex trafficking. One is way worse than the other here.
Well, and it's just like, even the response, like, here's what I'll say about, this is the only thing I'll say, the WWE AEW thing. You can criticize both, but yet again, we're criticizing them for different reasons. Triple H were criticizing because you just you dodged it, and you didn't even dodge it well. Whereas Tony Khan, you looked like a child.
Dodges it well. It's just
you looked like a child when you answered it.
Stop dodging it every time.
Also, I will say, at least Triple H didn't go on a 10-minute rant about how WWE is the safest company in the entire world. Yeah. And I'd put my track record about, at least he didn't go on that kind of a statement to where people were in AEW were like, oh, didn't you just say like a couple months ago that you feared for your life at a show, Tony?
Yeah, Tony didn't really do a good job with that one. But no, like, I think it's just I think a lot of the Vince stuff is going to be like, I almost said must see TV, because like I don't want to make it a spectacle. I don't want it to be this like,
it's the Epstein list for wrestling.
Yeah, well, because that actually does tie into the one thing that I mentioned to you before. It was another quote from PW Insider. PW Insider just reports everything at this point.
Yeah.
It was from the same place you got it, WrestleOps. As one source noted, if anyone believes for a second that Endeavor owner Ari Emanuel wanted to discover the type of allegations brought forth in the Janelle Grant lawsuit, not just about a company he purchased, but a company that has been employing his own daughter at WWE HQ for several years, they don't know Emanuel. They don't understand how ferociously he will eradicate anything that needs to be taken care of to protect his businesses. The same source noted that if Emanuel was willing to walk away from Saudi Arabia investments years ago without blinking an eye, he'll have no problem removing anything or anyone still remaining that could potentially hurt or impact WWE's business going forward. All I'm saying, and this is the whole thing of like, for people who don't exactly follow super close to it, the lawsuit isn't going to trial just yet. It's still in the really early stages of it.
Well, yeah, it's for those who do not know, this is kind of like how because I didn't know about it at first, but basically how the whole process goes is before trial, there's discovery, which is basically the prosecution is going to basically do all of their digging. They're going to get their investigations. They're going to get, in this case, it's going to be like a lot of email conversations, a lot of text messages, phone logs. All of this is just going to be unsurfaced as they go through that. I'll be completely honest. Some discoveries in court cases, they could last years. It could be at least a year or two, maybe longer, until we, especially something like this where there might be so many emails and stuff to go through. Like,
yeah, especially because just how long apparently what was happening with Janelle Grant was happening. Of like that, it could take years to dig up all those emails.
Then it goes to kind of like after they get the discovery, they have to share it with Vince's side, with his lawyer. And then basically at that, it's like, okay, plea deal, trial, then everything is set.
Like settlement, like,
yeah.
Like, are you willing to come to a settlement, and be like, hey, it's not actually that bad.
Yeah, it could be at least over a year until we see anything about a trial, if it goes to trial.
Yeah, and it's just a situation right now of, and for those of you that heard Ricky say the Wrestling Epstein list, a lot of people have kind of taken the piss out of the situation a little bit. It's the way the internet does it, of where we have to make jokes about everything to make it more lighthearted. Of where people are like, oh, like this is the equivalent of the wrestling Epstein list of like who knew Vince was doing this.
Yeah, and you say that
Especially because if you have like Ari Emanuel literally on the wings being like, hey, you posing a problem, buddy? Because the unemployment line's looking real nice for you.
I'll say this. I don't say this often, but I kind of agree with Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey, this was after it all like came out. I'm looking at a House of Wrestling article from the 27th where Ronda had a tweet that said Bruce Pritchard is basically Vince's avatar. If he's still around, Vince still has his hands in the business. Vince was still running things through Bruce when he was gone before. I'm sorry, if these emails come up, if Bruce Pritchard comes away clean, I'm calling BS. There is no way in my mind, allegedly, that if Vince goes down, if Vince goes down, in my mind, I would also predict that Bruce Pritchard goes down with this also. Because I just think in my head, okay, who was Vince buddy with? Who was in the crew for Vince? They're probably maybe all implicated.
Yeah, it's such an awful situation. Obviously, I hope, if if everything that is, I mean, mind you, because for any of you that haven't heard or kept up with the situation, I'm not going to read the stuff because pretty messed up. A lot of it.
I will say this. This is the one thing, and this is where my brain instantly goes. And I think I brought it up to you when it was brought up. No, I brought it up to Dave because he was the one that first told me about it. Because the day it all broke, I didn't read anything about it. When the Brock part came up, my first thought was, wait, he's got a daughter. He's married, isn't he? And he's married to Sable. And the first thing I thought of was, is Brock cheating on Sable? Is that what this kind of outed? It's like, no, you don't know. People do like the open relationship thing. Some people can do that. I personally don't know how you can. But it was also like my heart and mind went there of like, whoa, like didn't expect that. Like that could create a whole different problem for their personal issues. But like, yeah, I do hope anyone associated with this gets the can, and I think that Emmanuel will can anybody.
Oh, absolutely. I would genuinely be surprised if there is anyone that's directly associated with this, I would be surprised if they're still employed. And it's just because the fact of,
I hope he's not.
It's one of those weird situations of where like you look at it and it's like, okay, like who are Vince's guys in the company? And it's like Triple H has always kind of been like anti-Vince since he's gone backstage, but it's also been that weird, like, still employed.
Also, how much of it did he really know? You know what I'm saying? That's another thing.
It's like he may know something was happening. Like, obviously, I don't want to give excuses if he actually knew it. I'm not speculating on it. That's not my place to do that.
I'll wait until all the facts come out. That's how I always roll with these.
Yeah, it's just right now it's very much a situation of just keeping an eye on it, making sure, that we're all, everything's properly represented. And, just making sure that, the right thing happens. Like I'm not calling for anyone's heads because I don't want to be like, oh, well, the internet told me this guy did it, so he did it.
So I'm going to ask this for you. And this is kind of the last thing I have about it, is in the Emmanuel tweet that you read, I saw in the replies that there was somebody, it was the first one I saw, there might have been others too, which is like, if Triple H gets canned because of this, because he's implicated, I'm done watching WWE, and a lot of other people will too. Do you think if Triple H is implicated with this and gets fired, does WWE lose a lot of viewership? And do we then see the Netflix deal affected, TV ratings affected, this company doing the best that it's been doing ever right now. Pretty much in my mind, I haven't seen it like this since the Attitude Era when I was a kid. Will it all just come staggering down?
It's such a weird situation to just be in for right now, just for them, because obviously, with the active investigation and build-up of everything up to potential trial.
Yeah.
Of where, like, if Trips is there, I'm not saying he is or isn't. I'm specifying
speculation.
Now
Allegedly.
Yeah. It's just, I'm only specifying it because I know how the internet works. People take things out of term all the time. If he is, I do think Netflix backs out of the deal.
Well, Netflix.
And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if some of them are like, ooh, like, we got an entirely clear house.
I don't know if there's a thing in the deal of like, whoa, we didn't know this was going to happen, so let's back out. But I do know Netflix can back out after 5 years. Basically, it's
one of those weird, like...
I said it last time. It's either... So after 5 years of the Netflix deal, Netflix itself can either decide to end the deal, keep it at 10 years, or extend it to 20 years.
It's one of those weird situations, because when it comes to this stuff, like, legally, like, it's legally binding, but not exactly legally binding, because it's the... Because obviously, as well, like, we only just found out about, this investigation happening.
Yeah.
Who knows how long it's been building up?
Well, now we know.
Realistically,
now we know why Endeavor tried to get Vince to resign. Maybe they knew about it, and people were finding out about it, and they're like, "You gotta go, dude."
Yeah. Where that's the thing. It's very much I feel like there is a way they could legally be like, "Oh, you knew that." Like, someone in the company probably knows. Realistically, there's going to be people who know.
Yeah.
Most of them won't be people that we know.
Yeah.
There may be like one or two or like a few that we know, like by name. Realistically,
like for example, a Bruce Pritchard, maybe.
Yeah, like someone like a Bruce Pritchard, like Kevin Dunn, like people like that who are like directly associated with Vince.
Do you think he could be implicated because he's left? Because he left. Like,
yeah, well, it's with the stuff that happened with I mean, I could entirely be wrong. I'm not.
Graphics are so much better, by the way, since he left.
He stunk it up for so long. Like, was he the one that got brought up with the other stuff with Vince, or was that John Laurinaitis?
I think that was Laurinaitis.
I think they both did. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not going to specify anything specifically. Don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
They're not going to hear it. But, like, just in case.
Soapy gets subpoenaed tomorrow. He's at work. Hi, are you Soapy Muffins?
Dude, if someone showed up to my work saying Soapy Muffins, I'd actually be terrified and be like, uh-oh.
You'd be like, what do you know?
It's like, uh-oh.
They got the Xbox logs, boys.
Yeah, it's like, all right, what are you guys on me for? The Xbox log or the podcast?
They got the MW2 logs, boys.
Oh, God, dude. That'd be a hell of a pull. You'd have to find my old Xbox name. You'd have to find my old account.
Oh.
If they found my old account, it'd be like, all right, you guys can find anything about me at that point. No, like, I think it's definitely... It's such a slippery slope. And, like, and obviously, I don't want to get super into specifics with stuff, because obviously it's ongoing. I don't want to try to implicate people, because, like I said, the internet's the internet. Someone hears someone's name, they're like, they did it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, over, like, the next couple months, we'll hear, like, 10 different people say that that's what happened.
I just wish Trips had better answers. I'll be completely honest. I wish they would have had a prepared statement. That's kind of where I'm sitting. I mean,
even if... Because honestly, I do agree. Like, I think it's the... If they had just told the reporters when they come in, like, hey, look... They are not legally allowed to answer this stuff since it's an active investigation. You
don't think that would be seen as dodging the question? That's where I go back to my lose-lose.
I mean, I think if you mention, like, it's a legal situation, like, we're not allowed to talk about it. I think it's the, like, if you view it as, like, oh, wow, those cowards for backing away, it's like, it's a legal thing, dum-dum.
Yeah.
You can't talk about it. Because you indict yourself if you comment on it.
Yeah.
Or it's the, like, look, and like, and this is the main problem I have, and this is where a lot of my internet beef with like the internet wrestling community comes from.
Yeah.
None of them know anything ever.
Yeah.
We all draw from the same pool of us just reading like 4 reports and being like, that guy's lying, that guy's telling the truth.
We read the
same
same thing and then we interpret it how we want to in our head.
And we try to make it sound like we know more than everyone else.
Uh-huh.
Like, I do the same thing.
The
I'll
marks
read, like,
are plenty.
Yeah, dude, it's literally, it's like, you know how, I'm going to use this as an
baby.
example.
All of us are smarks.
So, you know, like when people use like the political graphs of where they're like, oh, like right, left, and like there's like the different quadrants. There's like, that's marks. That's all we are. There's different shades of marks. Whatever quadrant you're in is a different one.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing
at this point.
The other thing and last thing I'll say about it is the reason we got a different answer out of Cody is because the wrestlers are on a different level. The wrestlers, how many of them, when they were asked about it, even at press before the Royal Rumble, like Natty, hey, the quote of, we are reading it just at the same time you guys are. So it's like they're almost like us. The only difference is they're in the company.
Yeah, it was like they get their direction from like the direct source. We get it from the like, hey guys, I have a source who works there. And it's like, you know, how reliable is that source? It's like, are we talking to janitors? I do. Shout out to janitors. I'm basically a glorified janitor myself.
In this one, a lot of them said they were reading the Wall Street Journal article the same time we were. That's how they found it out. It's not like Trips or anyone from the top was like, hey guys, this is what, like, they found out when we found out. And also, like, Cody Rhodes, he's not linked to Vince McMahon. So it's like, it's kind of easier to speak about things. It's like what you said off the air to me. It's easier to speak about things when you know 100% I'm not linked to it. Like basically whatever I say can't incriminate me because I'm not linked to him at all.
Yeah. Or that's just the main thing of where, because I had said it kind of as a joke before the show. Where like when we start getting people getting investigated, as soon as someone says I plead the fifth, it's like, huh. I wonder why that's the thing. Sorry, there was a fruit fly that flew in front of me. That's why.
I wonder why. Oh, yeah. Batman.
Yeah. Batman.
Come into my lair.
Yeah. But like, no, that's the thing. It's just, it's one of those situations where like, obviously I know the fifth doesn't mean you're actually incriminating yourself. It just comes across like that. 90% of the time, if you call for the fifth, if you plead the fifth, it's like, you did something.
Well, it doesn't mean you did something wrong. You just don't want to say anything that may incriminate you.
Yeah, it's just, it's the situation of where it's the internet. We're going to read too much into it. I'm going to be like, ooh, what are you hiding that you don't want people to know?
Then people are going to go digging because that's what people, everyone has too much free time on there. And then they'll say they have no time.
I mean, hey, yeah. I mean, honestly, that's the thing of realistically, like, we'll probably get updated with stuff like as it's coming out and like, and as like Vince's team is learning about it / WWE's team. I don't know if, because I mean, this is the part that I don't know. Yeah, okay. Because I didn't know if it was like they're going after the WWE because of it, or if it's just Vince. So
the prosecutor will have to decide what it is, but most likely, if I'm going to take a guess about this, it would be, what state were they in? Connecticut. The people of Connecticut versus Vince McMahon. So any discovery that gets found out. Basically, the only way we're going to find out about it if it leaks somehow, because it's going to be shared with Vince's lawyer.
It's going to leak. It's going to leak. This is the internet. We live in the age of literally I can find out anything.
Someone in the courthouse is going to be like, dude, this needs to be leaked.
Reporters are going to be all over it, especially the fact of one, like negativity. I mean, mind you, this thing, if Vince has already kind of shown to be a scumbag in the past. But negativity really thrives in wrestling. It is something of positives almost never get you anywhere. It's always the negatives.
I'll say my prediction is the only way we find out for sure is if it goes to trial. Like actual trial.
Yeah, I have a feeling it'll actually go to trial.
I have a feeling
depending on how long the process takes. My only thing is, and this is just my my final take on it, and like
Mm-hmm.
I will openly admit this is going to sound incredibly selfish for me.
Go ahead.
I really hope it's not people that I like that are in there.
I think
Like if they do
I don't think
find
that's
people that are
bad.
there,
I don't think that's bad to be like that. It's
Well, no,
almost like
I'm
you're
not even
hoping that
taking
the
it from the
people you like are good people and not complete
Yeah.
dirtbags. Are not monsters,
like-
as I should say.
yeah, well, especially because it's like with the fact of, you know, like you see situations like that of where like we kind of got implications that it may be Brock, may not be, like wasn't dropped by name, but like it kind of fits the description of what
let's
it
be
was
honest.
of like former UFC champ.
Well, not just former UFC champ, that they were renegotiating with in 2021, and right around that time is when he showed up in August of 21 at SummerSlam.
Yeah. So, but like obviously, you know, like that implicates Brock.
Which I
And, like,
will
literally when I
tell
first
you,
heard
there's
this-
an easy way to find out if it's Brock, and the prosecutor will do this. They will see that. They'll be like, oh, he fits the bill. They'll subpoena Brock Lesnar's phone, pull back all those text messages that you think are gone, and then that's where you find your answer. If there's communications between him and Vince, then yeah, okay, it was him.
Yeah. Well, especially because like my first thought was then like, okay, I'm like, I almost kind of feel worried because it's like, ooh, Undertaker's really close to Vince.
Mm-hmm.
And like you hear like, you know, all the old wrestlers that are Vince guys that like they still talk to him all the time, and it's just like, dude, don't have my whole childhood just be full of sexual predators.
However, though, and I will say this, there are, and I'm not even talking about this situation, I'm just talking about in life. There's sometimes in life you have working, like a working relationship with somebody, and like you see them sometimes out of it, but you're like, you know what? He's done so much, like, oh, he's done so much great things for me, my family, like blah, blah, blah. But it's okay to be like that and not be like related to the bad stuff. Be like, hey, I didn't even know. Like, there's
No, like, I'm not
Undertaker's like,
implicating
I
it.
didn't even know about this.
Yeah. Like, I'm not implicating that part. Like, I do want to
I'll be
specify.
honest,
I'm not saying...
Taker was out of the company by that time.
Yeah, but
Taker's
one of those
also
weird things where he was still around.
Yeah, but Taker's also like, I know that all men of God are not like, there are some people out there that say they're like men of God that are Christians, and then like they'll go and swear, or they'll be like, I can sin, but it's like, didn't you say that you're a Christian, you're not supposed to do that? Like, but then you do it willingly. Taker doesn't, like, he's open about that, and he doesn't peg me as that guy that's one of the like faux Christians. Not even faux Christian, but like the I'm Christian, but I do the opposite of what I should.
Yeah, it's like it's like he doesn't strike you as the like, I'm just Christian by name.
Yeah, he strikes me as the I am Christian and I believe in it. Whether he was when he was wrestling or found it later, hey, that's on him. But like, when I hear him and see his life and see him and Michelle, like, yet again, I didn't think I'd be getting Brock Lesnar being sex trafficked women. Didn't think I'd be getting that in the Lord's year 2024.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a weird year, man.
Yeah, it's like it started off on such a weird note already.
Thought it was just gonna be politics, but now it's coming into my. I don't want politics in my wrestling. Damn it!
It's like, dude, it started off on such a rough note for this year already. Like everything outside of it, for the most part, everything outside of wrestling kind of been okay so far. Okay, so far. I'm specifying so far. God only knows what's going to happen.
Lines are being drawn, Soapy.
Yeah, I mean, like, I know there was
We're getting wrestling territories in real life.
Yeah. Like, we're about to actually experience, you know, like, actual real stuff. And I'm like, guys, it's not so bad so far. Like, yeah, we've already had talks of a civil war.
Abbott Southern
that
Wrestling.
happens every year. Yeah. Like, it happens every year, guys. It's all the time.
Oh.
Like, I think it's just it's definitely a situation of, like, I'm going to be keeping up with it.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I hate I'm not going to make that comparison, never mind. For anyone who doesn't know and watched when we did the the Gavig podcast. I was gonna be like, I'll keep up with this like I kept up with the Apple night like case, but no, I'm not gonna compare to that. This is way more
worse.
serious of an actual thing.
Yeah.
One of them is just like, Fortnite's not on the store, and this one it's like, hey,
now
like,
if you said you were going to keep up with it like you kept up with the Riot Games stuff, almost on equal footing.
I didn't pay attention to that at all.
They're in the same ballpark at least. Riot didn't sex traffic, but there were allegations going out there. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, this is the weird part of like, this is where we're going to end the podcast. And this is the note we're just going to all sit in for this one. Cody Rhodes is going to finish the story. That's what we'll end with.
Cody, let's go. Percent move 65-35.
Cody to Roman. Get ready to learn all the lyrics to Kingdom, buddy.
Yeah, get ready to learn the lyrics to Kingdom, buddy.
But that's going to do it for Heel Talk. Let us know what you guys think down below about everything we talked about with the Royal Rumble. Did you like it? What was your favorite? What do you think? Is Cody going to finish the story? Make sure to join the Discord down below. Best community in the universe if you haven't already. That is in the description, along with our Patreon page. If you'd like to support us, you can actually get the podcast a few days early if you are a Plus member, but you can also support us at the basic membership as well. Thank you to all of our patrons who support us each and every month. Also, go ahead and check us out on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Soapy and I will be back in dos. Oh, what's week in Spanish? It's not dos manos. That's two hands. I just said.
It beats me, dude. I don't remember anything from Spanish. Literally know.
Oh, someone who speaks Spanish, help me with weeks. I don't remember how to say weeks in Spanish. My Spanish 1 through 4 of high school and then my 1 and 2 that I had to retake in college are not helping me. But let us know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys for watching and listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
It's Semanas. Bye. It's Semanas, everyone.
Dos semanas?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, to be completely honest, Google could be lying to me.
All right.
I ran into the WebMD equivalent of Spanish.
As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.